History remembers its monsters. Genghis Khan, Vlad the Impaler, Hitler. Their names echo through the ages, synonymous with cruelty and bloodshed. But what about the shadows lurking just beyond the spotlight? The figures whose evil deeds, though no less monstrous, have faded from the collective memory. Today, we delve into the dark corners of history to unearth the top 5 most evil humans you've never heard of. Prepare yourselves, for these are not bedtime stories. These are the true accounts of men and women who carved their paths to power through rivers of blood and tears. Number 5. Ivan the Terrible, 1530-1584. Ivan V of Russia, better known as Ivan the Terrible, was a man who ruled with an iron fist dipped in acid. His reign was a tapestry of paranoia, brutality, and religious fanaticism. He established the Oprichnina, a secret police force known for their sadistic methods of torture and execution. Imagine the KGB on steroids, fueled by vodka and Pravoslavny zeal. Ivan's wrath knew no bounds. He murdered his own son in a fit of rage, slaughtered thousands of innocent citizens during the Novgorod massacre, and even blinded himself, accidentally of course, in a fit of self-flagellation. But was Ivan truly a monster, or a product of his time? A ruthless ruler in a brutal age, or a deranged psychopath who reveled in inflicting pain? You decide. Number 4. Grigory Rasputin, 1878-1916. Move over. Nostradamus. There's a new mystic in town. Grigory Rasputin, the Mad Monk, was a self-proclaimed holy man who wielded immense power over the Russian royal family, particularly the hemophiliac Tsarevich Alexei. Through a combination of charisma, dubious healing powers, and, let's be honest, some very persuasive bedroom skills with the Tsarina, Rasputin became a de facto ruler of Russia. His influence was as intoxicating as his questionable hygiene. He preached debauchery and mysticism, turning the royal court into a playground of orgies and religious fervor. This, needless to say, did not sit well with the Russian people, who saw him as a symbol of corruption and the fall of the empire. Resolution. In 1916, Rasputin met a fittingly gruesome end. Poisoned, shot, and finally drowned, his body was dumped in the icy Neva River. His death, however, did little to save the Romanovs. The seeds of revolution had been sown, and soon the entire Tsarskaya Semya would meet a similar, if not bloodier, fate. Number 3. Kim Il-sung, 1912-1994. Now, let's cross the Pacific to a land of eternal dear leaders and questionable haircuts. Kim Il-sung, the founder and eternal president of North Korea, ruled with an iron fist for nearly half a century. His regime was a masterclass in totalitarian control, a chilling blend of Stalinist brutality and Orwellian propaganda. Under Kim, North Korea became a hermit kingdom, isolated from the world and fueled by a perpetual state of paranoia. His personality cult reached dizzying heights, with every citizen expected to worship him as a living god. Dissent was met with swift and brutal repression, and the gulags of North Korea became home to countless innocent souls. Kim's legacy is one of suffering and isolation. His nuclear ambitions continue to cast a long shadow over the region, and the scars of his dictatorship run deep in the hearts of the North Korean people. Number 2. Isabel Visern of Castile, 1451-1504. Queen Isabella of Spain might be remembered for funding Columbus's voyage and ushering in the age of exploration, but behind the veil of Catholic monarch lies a darker truth. Isabella was a relentless religious zealot, obsessed with purging her kingdom of anything deemed heretical. Her infamous Spanish Inquisition was a machine of torture and terror, aimed at crushing dissent and enforcing religious orthodoxy. Thousands were burned at the stake, condemned for being Jewish, Muslim, or simply questioning the Queen's divine authority. But Isabella's cruelty wasn't limited to religious matters. She waged brutal wars against Muslims and expelled them from Spain, leaving behind a legacy of cultural and religious erasure. Her thirst for power and expansion paved the way for Spanish colonialism in the Americas, marking the beginning of centuries of exploitation and suffering. Number 1. Leopold II of Belgium, 1835 to 1909. Now, we venture into the heart of Africa, where a king with seemingly harmless mutton chops held sway over a land of unimaginable horror. Leopold II of Belgium, through a series of cunning political maneuvers, carved out a personal fiefdom in the Congo Free State. Free, it was not. Leopold's Congo was a living hell, a rubber plantation fueled by forced labor, mutilation, and genocide. Millions of Congolese were subjected to systematic brutality, their hands chopped off for failing to meet rubber quotas, their villages burned, their families torn apart. Leopold's greed knew no bounds. He plundered the Congo's natural resources, enriching himself beyond imagination, while his private army, the Force Publique, terrorized the population. The human cost was staggering, with estimates suggesting up to 10 million Congolese perished under his reign. Leopold's story is a stark reminder of the darkest chapters of colonialism, a testament to how unchecked power can morph into unimaginable evil. We've reached the end of our journey into the shadows, but the questions linger. Why do these figures exist? These architects of suffering? Are they anomalies? Products of their time? Or do they represent a dark facet of human nature that lurks beneath the surface? It's up to us to learn from their deeds, to remember the victims, and to ensure that such darkness never again shrouds the world. This is just a glimpse into the abyss. History is rife with untold stories of those who wielded power for evil. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Who are some lesser-known figures of historical brutality that you think deserve to be remembered? And most importantly, what can we do to prevent such horrors from repeating?